Hello, my name is Karen Walkerman, and I'm the creator of EP3, a powerful user interface for EnergyPlus. Learning EnergyPlus can be overwhelming, and that's why we're sharing with you our tips and tricks for learning and working with EnergyPlus. Our tip number 3 is to develop a naming convention and to use it consistently. Now, if you're already an experienced energy modeler, you may be thinking, this is basic stuff and I know it already. And that may be true. There are a couple of reasons why using a consistent naming convention is extra important in Energy Plus, and I'd like to share those reasons with you. So, the first reason why it's so important to develop and be consistent with a naming convention is that in Energy Plus versus another energy modeling program like eQuest, there are just more objects to name. Let's take this fan coil object, for example. Now, in eQuest, you might have a zone HVAC heating and cooling object, and all of the heating coils and the fan and the cooling coil are contained within that object, and you only need to name the parent object. In Energy Plus, with a 4-pipe fan coil, those other objects are separate objects. So we have the 4-pipe fan coil, we have an outdoor air mixer, which allows this 4-pipe fan coil to have an outdoor air supply. We have the fan itself. We have the cooling coil, and we have a heating coil. Now, in EP3, we're showing you all of these objects as being connected because they are connected. But if you look at the actual Energy Plus native file format, each one of these objects is going to be separate. And so if you just name the heating coil 15, in order to know which space it's connected to, you're going to have to trace it back to the fan coil, and then through a couple of different object types which connect it back to the actual zone. The second reason why it's so important to have a consistent naming convention in your Energy Plus models is not only are there more objects in Energy Plus than in other energy modeling programs, but there are also more names. So we make connections based on names. So you can see here we have availability schedule as referencing a schedule based on its name. And we also are referencing those objects. So the supply air fan is referenced based on a name. In EP3, we're not allowing you to edit these objects, but in a regular Energy Plus file, you could change these names, and that would change the reference to a different object. So we're referencing objects based on names, but we also are connecting objects based on nodes. And nodes are recognized as being the same if they have the same name. So let's take a look down here at our fan. So we have an air inlet node name and an air outlet node name. Now to see the whole thing, I'm just going to select it and see what it says. So it's space 11, fan coil, cooling coil, air inlet node. Now I'm in the fan object, but just based on the name, I know that this node connects the fan air outlet right here, because we're at the fan air outlet, with the cooling coil air inlet based on the node name. And as we look in the diagram on the right, you can see that these nodes are highlighting and the location. If I zoom in, we have our fan here, and we see our inlet node and our outlet node, and our outlet node is between the fan and the cooling coil. So naming your nodes in a consistent way that references the object that it's connected to, and whether it's the inlet or the outlet, and also the fluid type, this is going to help you enormously when you have to look at an Energy Plus file and figure out how things are connected. Regardless of the energy simulation program you're using, developing a naming convention and using it consistently is best practice. In Energy Plus, It's ultra important because of the use and the reliance on node names to make connections between different pieces of equipment. Thank you for joining us for this tip number 3 for tips and tricks for EnergyPlus from EP3. Thank you.